Hello and welcome back to Market House, a podcast where we talk all things Disney. My name is Caleb and I'm the host of this show. And I just want to announce officially that Christmas time in our household has officially started. And you may be asking yourself, it's like November, the first week of November. How could it be Christmas time already? And let me tell you why. It's the best holiday of the year. There's no doubt, no question. There's no debate. It's just plain fact. And yeah, we like to celebrate it. And this is my kind of thought process behind it. Let me tell you where that, this opinion comes from. And it is this, very popular holiday that happens at the end of December 25th. You may know, Christmas time. It is it's a lot. You decorate your house. You're expected to hang lights out on your house. You're expected to decorate the inside of the house, which involves a Christmas tree, which needs, lights if you don't have a pre-lit one. You need ornaments. You need stockings hung up. You need all the junk, right? All the things that go throughout the house. So I say, why not enjoy this for as long as possible? Because it takes so dang long to put it all up. So that is why we celebrate so early, and it is also just an excuse because we just love it, right? We love the Christmas music, we love the time, we love getting together with family and friends, and it's just I'm going to create a new word called funtastic. It's a fantastic time of the year, and we want to celebrate it as long as possible. So this means that we wanted to get our tree up as soon as possible. But I forgot that we had thrown away our old artificial tree last year at the end of the season because it was broken. There's a few broken branches, some lights on it were out, and it was inherited from a family friend. And so I said, you know what? Why don't we be grown-ups and go purchase our own tree? And we're fans of artificial trees in this house because, number one, I really don't like the smell of pine, especially inside a home. And second, real trees shed their dead pine needles, and I'm kind of a clean freak, so I don't want to be vacuuming up needles all throughout the couple months that it's up. So anyways, we prefer the artificial tree, and it's a kind of a one you pay up front and then you get it for years. So it's just a better all-around investment. And so anyways, we went to Costco and they were not on the shelves yet. And my wife and I proceeded to call Costco pretty much every day or every other day going, is it in? Are they in yet? And, they kept saying, no, try again tomorrow. We're waiting for the shipment, right? It'll be in, we promise. And finally, after a couple days of not calling because I was so embarrassed, I'm like, they probably recognize my voice at this point. I said, let's just drive there and see what's there. So we drove over and we're walking through and I don't see them usually they display the trees that they're selling and they weren't up. And I'm like, gosh, dang it. Like, they're not here yet. Like, so frustrated. I'm like, whatever, we need a couple things. Let's go through. And I see this lady walking by with one of those flatbed cart things, the big things. And I look at the box and I'm like, that looks like a Christmas tree box. It has to be one. And I, look over, I crane my neck and sure enough it is. And I'm like, oh, they're here somewhere. So I'm running like a madman throughout Costco, like it has to be here somewhere. And I found it and it was the last one. And so I sprinted over to it and I grabbed the handles and I was like, nuh-uh, none of you people are grabbing this thing. So I had my wife go run and grab one of the carts and I was like, I'm staying here. So we successfully nabbed the Christmas tree we wanted and it is now up in the house. So that was my very long rambling way of telling you that we're big fans of Christmas and we have already decorated for the season. I'll be getting those lights up on the house pretty soon here. That's the last step. But Christmas time is here. If you're also some of those crazy people that decorate early, let us know on Instagram at Market House Podcast. And share, pictures of your house if you want, or your decorations, and maybe you have Mickey decorations, Disney decorations, or that you want to show off. But anyways, yeah, so I say all that as well to say that this episode is going to be a little different, only because we have been a little preoccupied decorating and getting ready for the season, as well as attending a lot of family and friend events, which were all great, but also take time out of the week. So this week's going to be a little different, and we're going to do a news-only episode. So folks, strap in and let's dive into that news. All right, our first news story has to do with Christmas, believe it or not, and that is because Disneyland has already put up their Christmas trees in both Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure. And, the Disney Resort happens to be a very big fan of Disney, and I can only imagine why. I think people go there in droves, during the holiday season, and they drop a lot of cash, to say the least. So Disney, of course, are big fans of Christmas, and with Christmas comes the wallets. So they make sure to decorate early, and I think they have the same thought process as us, which is, hey, this takes a lot of time and effort. Let's just let's milk this thing for all it's worth. So Christmas time at Disney lasts like a good 2.5 months. So they are decorated for the most part. I know they're continuing to decorate up until November 12th, which is the official opening of the Christmas season at the resort. So you'll see kind of more decorations go up for the next few days until that day. So look out. I think we're actually going to have some more kind of Christmas content coming up in the next few weeks, because starting on the 12th, that is when more limited food options become available, as well as entertainment. So you're going to see, the Christmas parade. You're going to see Christmas foods. Of course, everything's themed there. So you'll get Christmas themed food options that we can either try ourselves, hopefully this year, if everything works out, or we'll, kind of skim the interwebs and see what people are saying about certain options, so we can steer you in the right direction, and so you don't spend $8 on a crappy Disney dessert and maybe spend that $8 for a good one. So, anyways, look out for more, kind of Disney Christmas content in the next month. But yes, they are decorated and ready to go. Next up, we have Disney Plus Day, which is not a day, but a week. Disney likes to announce things and name it something like, 50th anniversary, which is usually one day, but they like to celebrate things not really literally. So an anniversary may last a year and a half, and in this case, Disney Plus Day is actually Disney Plus Week. So they're celebrating their anniversary of Disney Plus, which has, I think, been around for 2 years now. And this goes through Monday, November 8th through Sunday, November 14th. And I believe the first couple days, they are offering Disney Plus, a month of it, for $1.99. So what is usually $8 or $9, I think, at this point, it is only $2. So looks like they're trying to entice either former or non-existing Disney Plus subscribers, and hopefully they can kind of entice them to come and subscribe for $1.99 for the first month, and then I believe it goes to the normal price after the first month. But hey, I mean, if you aren't a subscriber yet, I guess it's a good time to join the Disney Plus family, and you get your first month for a pretty low price. And yeah, there's a lot more with this announcement, with the Disney Plus kind of celebration. They've got a bunch of I think like exclusive partnerships with like AMC theaters, I think. I don't know. There's a lot, and they're going to be rolling out a ton of Disney Plus shows and movies for the next week, and some other kind of in-person events. I think they have events in New York, in Nashville, in LA. So some major markets there. I think they're going to have some pop-ups in the city. Don't know what those look like, but if you're curious and want to see how they're celebrating and what you can kind of, take part in, you can go to disneyplus.com. I'm plugging a Disney website, but disneyplus.com/Disney Plus Day for more information. So if you're curious, go there and see what's all going on there. But the biggest piece of that news is if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe for $1.99. Next up, we have a Disneyland job fair. This is taking place November 9th and 10th. So it's a 2-day event from 9 to 3 p.m. And yeah, they're actually by the time this is coming out, it's going to be tomorrow and the next day. But it looks like they have a kind of a big need for food and beverage cast members, culinary and custodial cast members as well. So unfortunately, it looks like it's kind of the least desirable positions, at the resorts. I think people, if they could choose, you'd go, I want to be a ride operator, or I want to work at the Emporium on Main Street. So I think, they have a harder time filling these roles. So, and you may be aware of the tough employment situation that this country as a whole is dealing with. So, of course, a giant company like Disney gets affected in a bigger way than most employers do, just because of the scale, right? They're hiring thousands, whereas a small business hires tens of people. So, anyways, they are offering $1,000 to $1,500 signing bonuses, depending on the role, I believe. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a kind of a sad state of affairs when they have to have these things, because I don't know if it's either a shortage or I don't want to get too far into this because it kind of gets political, but I know there's, hesitation from some folks that are in the service industry that don't want to go back to work because they feel like, hey, I'm making a certain amount and I'm experiencing or, this is going to get rough. But, during COVID, there were definitely some contentious, I'm sure, situations these employees were put in, and they were like, okay, I can either go to work and, make X amount and not be super happy with my life, or I can go home and not really have to put up with this. So I think you're going to have to find a, middle ground here, and maybe Disney offers that they're right in the middle of in talks with their employees right now on a requested wage increase, I know, from Disneyland employees. So hopefully, they get that resolved, and then they'll see folks maybe applying in bigger numbers once they get that kind of wage dispute resolved. But yeah, they're holding a job fair. So, I mean, I don't know. If you're interested and want to work at Disneyland, this is a good week to go and try and get a job with the resort. Next up, we have Web Slingers. The Spider-Man ride in DCA is actually going standby. So there's a standby line available as of November 4th. And yeah, I mean, less pressure to get those boarding passes or boarding group numbers at 7 a.m. in the morning. So it's a curious decision by Disney. Maybe they're seeing less demand for that ride, compared to Rise of the Resistance. So I think it's a step in the right direction. Some folks really don't like waking up super early in the morning, or being on their phones at noon, right? Is that when the next boarding group opens up? So less pressure to get another reservation, right? Currently you have to deal with park reservations, dining reservations, and attraction reservations. So one less reservation to get is nice for families. So again, I see this as a good move. If you want to wait in line for 60 minutes, you can ride the ride, and you don't less pressure to be on the phone trying to nab a reservation. So curious, but yeah, Disneyland going standby with Web Slingers. Our final news story takes place across the country over at Walt Disney World, but the new Swan Reserve Hotel has opened up and is actually part of the Swan and Dolphin Resort, if you hadn't gathered that by the name. But it's a new hotel, and it opened on November 3rd, and actually looks really, really nice. It's 349 rooms. That includes 151 suites for you fancy folk, and some of those rooms actually have park views, which would be pretty awesome to get. I'm assuming that doesn't come with a really cheap price tag, but it's a sweet option. But yeah, actually, it does really look cool. Kind of higher scale. I mean, it's definitely not a Holiday Inn Express. It's not the Ritz-Carlton either. So I think it kind of fits somewhere in the middle there. Maybe a nice Hilton property is kind of what I do. But I say all that. It's actually Marriott. So it's not a really official Disney-owned hotel. Marriott, I believe, rents the space in the Disney World Resort. But so yeah, pro tip actually, since it is a Marriott property, you can use Marriott points to book it. So if you're into the kind of travel credit card game, or just travel a lot and you kind of accumulate Marriott points just by booking through them, you don't need to use a credit card. This could be a good redemption for you guys. So instead of paying, $1,500, $2,000 for your room, you can offset that cost with some points. So that's really the only property you can use points on to stay on Walt Disney property. So you get the convenience of being on property close to all the action, but less cost since you can kind of offset that with points. So if you aren't kind of in the travel game and you're like, oh, that's actually a good excuse for me to kind of dabble in the points game, that's a good excuse. So either you get a Marriott branded credit card, or you go, the Chase route and get one of their travel credit cards. You can use their, it's a whole thing. You can transfer points. It's this whole ecosystem of transferring and all that good stuff. I won't dive too far into it, but if you haven't tried it or haven't been interested and you're a big Disney fan, it may be worth a peek. All right, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Again, I apologize for the kind of different format, but it has been quite a busy week, but I wanted to get something out to you guys and add a little value to your week so you don't have to sit and consume all this news with your eyes. You can just listen to it while you drive or do something else around the house. So again, appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us this week. We will be back next Monday for another episode of Market House. If you aren't already, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Market House Podcast. And folks, have a great week. We'll see you next week.